Okay, looks like we are live, and I'm joined here by Dave and Tristan from Self-Imposed Exile, a Blackened death metal, Blackened death metal band. I've forgotten the genre from Illinois. So tell us. Let's start off. What's in the name? Self-Imposed Exile. That's an interesting name. Is there a story behind it?
Yes, there is. All right, so back in 2016, me and the drummer, we worked together, and the joke was that we were sitting in a call center together, and we kept screwing around when we were sitting next to each other. So I chose to move myself away from everybody, so we wouldn't get in trouble, we wouldn't lose our jobs. So one day Frank walks over to me and he says, "Hey Dave, are you enjoying your self-imposed exile?" And it was like one of those, "Whoa, that's it. That's the name. That's perfect."
Cool.
I mean, you could come up with like a lot of deeper meanings behind it. You know, the idea of dismissing yourself off away from modern day society and everybody's bullshit to kind of just learn about yourself, like the hermetic journey, if it will. But it started out as a good joke, and turns out there's a lot of meaning behind it.
Yeah, it's kind of poignant in the current climate with COVID and all that. A lot of people in self-imposed exile at the moment.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's exactly what it is for everybody.
So how did the band get together?
Well, the drummer, Frank, two guitarists, Mark and Nick, they knew each other for a long time. I joined them in 2016, and I learned their songs on bass. I've been playing guitar for, I don't know, 10 plus years at that time. So I just kind of picked up bass with them. And then we found Tristan on a Craigslist ad, and it's kind of all history since.
Okay, I thought Craigslist ads were kind of like dangerous, like you got all the nutcases.
Super dangerous.
So so did you do all right with him then, or is he dangerous?
Yes, Tristan's pretty dangerous. I'd give it that.
Right, so
well, I mean,
you've only just got.
I can be, but I don't like to be.
Right, fair enough. So you've got the one release out so far, haven't you?
Yeah.
Just the one debut EP. Tell us about that a bit more.
Well, we have it's a six song that when I had joined, they had already had
Is that a motor car?
Yep, it is. It's a motorcycle.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Blurry-eyed leather tufts.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, back when I had joined, they had already had the songs musically recorded, and I came in, wrote lyrics for about half of the album. So, I mean, I guess it in a short period of time wasn't a huge deal, but I think they turned out relatively well, and I think, at least as far as I know, everybody was happy with them.
All right.
Yep.
Getting some killer echo on your talking, Tristan. What's the name of the EP again?
Mountainside.
Sorry?
Mountainside.
Oh, Mountainside, right? Yeah, that's right. Why Mountainside? Is Illinois in the mountains, or?
No, actually, it was a song title of one of the tracks, and when we were trying to think of a name, we were going through all the actual tracks and trying to pick something out. Figure maybe, do like something where we could have a title track, and that was the one that everybody actually agreed on.
Right.
Mountainside of the first song in a 4-part, basically epic journey from the very beginning to the very end of the Sumerian race fighting the Anunnaki for their freedom.
Okay. Yeah, it gets pretty heavy. Like, there's a lot of storytelling that we like to do in our lyrics for the sheer simple fact that, I don't know, I don't really like singing about, like, my girlfriend or, fucking politics. I mean, there is some political shit that's in there, but, like, it's not really, like, we're really like trying to reach as far as we can for creative inspiration, for the sheer simple fact that we want to express ourselves and we don't want to use trite and already overly used topics
So
to sing about.
Different.
Yeah,
something a bit different. So is that the only song that's got? Or is there a concept on a few of the songs, or just that song that has that concept?
Yep.
Just that one.
On that.
Okay.
No.
On that particular EP, song 3, which is the title track, Mountainside, is the first song, and then songs 5 and 6 are songs 2 and 3 for the concept, and the fourth and end song is still yet to be recorded.
So who did you write the lyrics for that one, Tristan?
For songs 3, 5, and the majority of 6, yes.
All right. So where did you get the idea to sing about? Was it the Anunnaki? Was it you said?
Yeah. Yep. That was my concept, actually.
It was a Yeah, it was a concept that in part of song 6, which is called Necessary Regression, that Dave had already had some lyrics for a clean part written down already, and he told me that that was the basis for it. So I wrote the songs around that.
Cool.
Like the whole concept is the idea of a group of people who are sort of breaking out of the chains of enslavement, essentially, like they being held down by political or physical masters. And this was their journey, their concept into rising above all of that shit. And so you have this exchange in Necessary Rejection, or Regeneration rather, between Necessary Regression, get the damn song title correct, between the oppressed and the oppressor. Thanks. It's only our songs, right? So that's the concept behind it.
It sounds like the concepts are like universal and can still be sort of looked at today, I suppose. It's sort of allegories with some stuff in today's societies and that. So at the moment, it's not actually a physical copy, is it? So where can people listen to it?
Well, you can see it on YouTube. Go ahead, Tristan.
We have YouTube. We have Spotify, iTunes, Google Music. We have a SoundCloud. We have all sorts of different places where you can view it. So if you go anywhere and pretty much look for it, I mean, it's on there. And the album art itself is unmistakable, I guess you could say. So yeah, like I said, if you want to hear it, go look for it, and then you'll find it.
Cool. I'll put a few links below as well in the description, and also on the blog as well if people want to check out the blog. So how's it been being in a band at this time when you can't even be in the same house half the time, and you can't get together to record or to practice or write new songs? Have you been able to cope with that, or you've just been plowing on anyway?
Yes, we still have been getting together for practices, since the majority of us are, within a very small group of people that we interact with. I mean, just, make sure you use hand sanitizer, and we're around each other for practices. We meet up once a week. Obviously, if anybody's sick or anything like that, we just let everybody know, and we just don't have practice. But, for the most part, like, initially we took about 3 months off. And during that time, we had a lot of time to be able to write new songs, to come up with new material, to kind of refine different concepts behind that. So that has definitely, it's interesting because in a way it was kind of a blessing, because otherwise we wouldn't get that time off to be able to kind of put everything under a microscope. It sucked. It still sucked not being able to have band practice, but silver linings. You got to look at those,
Yeah, that's a good point. So you've been able to introspect on your material and sort of think about it in that long period and work on it some more and come up with some different ideas. Yeah, cool. What about no live gigs recently, or how have you been as a live band? Have you done a lot of gigging? What's the scene like as well where you are?
I mean, we've played a handful of shows so far with this lineup. We had a lot of shows booked, but everything got canceled. So, but we practice we built a stage at our practice spot, and it's a music shop. Actually, we run a music shop as well. So we just decided to build our practice space exactly like it was a live setup. That way, there was really no surprises. We just practiced like we were going to perform live, and when we go play a show, it's essentially just another practice.
All right. Is there any kind of image or anything to the live show? Or just straight up get down and play the song. You don't dress up as ancient warriors from the Anunnaki or nothing like that.
It'd be fucking cool, but no, those things are kind of expensive. We tossed around the idea of wearing corpse paint just because that's kind of who we like to pay tribute to, is the Norwegian black metal scene. But as it stands right now, we tend to just go up there and throw down and play music, you know?
How's the crowds like when you've done your gigs? Everyone appreciating it?
No. It's a mix.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It really
Tristan,
seems
if you want to answer.
It really seems like it's one of those things where people either love what we do, or they're just so disinterested that they leave. I don't know if it's too complicated or too fast or too loud or what the problem is, but it seems to be that mix. There's really no in between.
Okay, so you're a love them or hate them kind of band.
Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, like, people are weird about it. Like, I think when somebody gets a chance to like listen to some of the recorded stuff and throw on some headphones and really take in everything that's going on that we do musically, like, because there's a lot of tempo changes, there's a lot of just riffage and shit like that. So I think initially live, if they had no idea what we were going to bring to the table, it's probably really fucking loud. It's probably really fast to them. But then again, I've also seen people and had people come up to us before and be like, "Hey, yes, that was fucking awesome. Like, I can't believe what you guys are doing." So, you know, it's a mix. It's a mix. And that's to be expected, I suppose, when you're playing, you know, what is our official title? Progressive blackened death metal.
That's I guess the closest thing that I could figure out that people have called us anyway. I mean, it still doesn't really fit, but I guess it's somewhat close.
Right.
Yeah. Genres are a bit of a pain in the butt now, aren't they, in describing you. How would you describe your music yourself? So, I mean, is that what people have said about you, or is that how you think you sound yourself? So have you got like any particular bands that you think you most closely sound like?
I mean, there's a lot of different musical influences from every single one of us. Like, I know Tristan definitely has a lot of death metal influences on his vocals. I know that our drummer personally has got huge influences from Dark Throne, Mastodon, Between the Buried and Me, and a few other bands, just to name a few. Like, we're kind of all over the map, you know, and each one of these bands have their own individual element that they bring to the table that I think we sort of really enjoy, and not only want to embody ourselves, but also want to make it our own, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So, and if any more to do with the lyrics on the EP on Mountainside, what's your favorite? I always find, because I used to sing in my band. Have you got a favorite lyric, a favorite line from a song that, like, every time you sing it, you think, "Oh yeah, this is a cool line. I'm glad I wrote this line," or something like that?
I don't know so much that I have a favorite, at least not a single line. I guess a grouping of lyrics would probably be either the chorus for Necessary Regression, or possibly, well, nearly the entire song for Fire Cleanse.
That's a good one. That would be my choice in there. In Fire Cleanse, there's a clean part, and I threw a little bit of Icelandic in there. There's the singing that's in there. It's like chanting. It's Þetta sitasta stop orka hjona. And what that means is, this is our last stop here. And we as a band have discussed, because we've jammed with other musicians before, but if this band flops, I don't want to fucking do this again. I don't want to go through learning other people's like personalities and trying to become friends with them and figure out each other's quirks. Like, we all know each other very well. So this is our last stop here, again, is what that translates to. And to me, I think that's probably my favorite. And it sounds really goddamn cool on the album. I'm pretty proud of the way that came out.
Pronunciation sounded good. Where did you get that from?
What's that?
The pronunciation sounded pretty good. I mean, I know Icelandic at all. But how did you get across that phrase?
Theta erositosta staporkakiona. Like, I have a couple of friends over in Iceland, and I mean, there's like, you know, Duolingo apps and shit like that. If you want to do research on languages, you can do it. We've got the future, man.
Why did you choose to do it in Icelandic? Is the Fire Cleanse song, is it based on Icelandic themes?
No. No, it's more so, it's one of those things where I thought that it was so just far-fetched that nobody would get it. So it was more so just one of those statements that I wanted to make for ourselves. And if somebody actually did research and like Google translated those lyrics, like, damn, that's cool. You know, I kind of gave it away. There's the Easter egg, but you know, the idea is like, I like to put things in our songs for us personally, you know, because inevitably that to me is the most important part of playing music is to make sure that you are fulfilling yourself personally, artistically, and expressing yourself wholly creatively.
Yeah. So what about, how many gigs have you done? I mean, are you gigging like when you were gigging before the corona? Was you gigging like once a month, twice a month, every weekend? What's it like there for regularity of getting gigs sorted?
Well, the ones that we had done, we had maybe once or twice a month, but there was a stretch that we would have done in like April or May, where we would have had like 8 shows in 6 weeks. So yeah, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not like
we didn't have a very strong stretch. Right. No. We didn't have a very strong stretch like right before this COVID. We were just beginning to go. We finally had found Tristan, and he was kind of the last cog in the machine for us to be able to take this show on the road, literally. So I think we only played a couple.
Yeah, the wheels came off the machine after thinking. So what sort of areas are you playing? I mean, you play far from home, or you play a lot in the local town? And was it train tour you live in? Is that a good town for metal?
Streeter?
Not particularly, no.
Streeter, that's it. Streeter.
No. This is a town that's pretty gentrified, or was at one point, and now it's just I don't know what the hell this town is about, to be honest with you. Like some of it's pretty cool, and then a lot of it is very strange. We're finding more shows closer to Chicagoland, closer to like mid-state Illinois, which would be like by Peoria and Rockford. We want to take shows over to like Indiana and Michigan, which would be, you know, respectively north and east of us.
Yeah,
it's a lot of travel as well, isn't it? Because it's such a big, bloody country. How far away are those places? You talk about 200-mile drives, or how long?
Well,
go ahead.
The ones in state are normally anywhere between 45 minutes and 2 hours.
Right.
So I mean, minutes. We have one. 45 minutes isn't bad, but when you're doing a 2-hour stretch, it gets kind of rough. But
right,
we had one that we were looking at doing here shortly, that would have been a 3-hour drive each way, and it was still in state as well.
Yeah. What about if you go out to Michigan and other places, Indiana? Would that be even longer?
A lot of it depends on where you're going in those states. If you go to the UP up in Michigan, you could be looking at 7+ hours.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a long ass drive.
What's it like? Are you kind of like a band? You are basically paying to do the band, or does the band give you any money? Like when you do a gig, you got to drive so many miles. Do you actually get your petrol covered, or is it just like you put the money in yourself and just do it for the hell of it?
A little bit of that's pretty much it. Like maybe we'll get gas money. Maybe we'll get enough to get like a pizza after we get done playing, or just like, you know, get a bite to eat. But for the most part, we haven't really run into any venues that's just like, yeah, we'll pay for everything, and we got this 5-star hotel lined up for you guys. So we haven't seen that yet.
You get any free beer at least? Or?
Oh,
That's
hell no.
yes, I do make sure.
You get free beer.
Hey,
I
I have
get free
never
beer
gotten
sometimes.
Well, fuck you, Dave.
He's drunk, you. That's why.
Why not? The whole time.
Sure.
Okay, yeah.
Voice or something.
What's that?
Does he preserve his voice? Doesn't have any beer because he doesn't want his voice to go.
Yeah,
No,
I don't. I don't have an excuse. Why the hell are you paying for it? We're gonna need to have better communication at our shows, man. Like, there's no reason.
Because apparently you're going up and talking to the bartender and not telling anybody else about it. Stingy.
I have.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Let's not have a civil war.
See?
I don't want to be the cause of fan breakup.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I quit. I'm done. We quit on this channel. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So what about are there any other local bands in was it Streeter? Any other bands there? Is there many metalheads in your town? Is there a big population? Or?
Those motorcycles, man. There's one band in town by the name of Chaos Ordnance. We're pretty friendly with them. They play more like industrial metal stuff. They've been doing that for over almost a decade now. They've been playing music. So, you know, a lot of their fans will see us and enjoy what we bring to the table too. But like I said, you know, Streeter's got this very, very weird mix going on here where you're either 150 years old living off of Social Security, or you're a metalhead, and there's not really much in the way in between. You know, I mean, I guess there's a lot of, like, you know, hip hop vibes, a lot of rap vibes and stuff like that too. But, you know, apart from that, like, this town is kind of just used to the Bruce Springsteen vibe, and that's about it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Talking about your mountainside, where did you record it? Did you record it locally, or did you record it yourselves, or did you go to a studio and pay big money for it, or how did that go down?
Tristan?
Well, that was actually recorded with another musician from here in town that he and his band called Witherer are studio musicians, so they simply record music and they don't actually play live shows. Well, he recorded all of their music and wanted some more practice to be able to get better at his craft of recording, so he had agreed to record our stuff as well. How
did that work out? Was you happy with the results?
I was very happy with the results.
How long did it take you? Was it a weekend, or how long did you do the whole thing?
Collectively, probably about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Because we did this we started recording before Tristan was even in the band. So we started laying out instrumentals, and it took our guitarists maybe 1 or 2 takes to knock out all the tracks. Our drummer got all the tracks done in 1 take. There was a little bit of modulation and stuff like that went into it. I did the first time, I did it all in 1 take, and then I went back and re-recorded everything, just because at the time I recorded it, I was still kind of learning how to play bass and wasn't satisfied with my technique, so I just went in and redid it. And then Tristan went in and laid down the vocals. We broke up the songs as far as vocal work is concerned. That took us a couple takes, but all in all, time period-wise, maybe a week and a half.
It's pretty cool. What was it, 7 tracks is it on there?
6.
6 tracks, okay, cool. But he hasn't actually got a physical release yet. When's that going to come about, do you think?
We should have them sometime within the next month or so. Because we got to get them ordered, then they have to be pressed in the package, and, you know, all that fun stuff. I believe it said that there was roughly a 10-day turnaround once they're ordered. And then you figure with the shipping, you know, you got another 2 days. So I'd say somewhere between the next 3 to 4 weeks.
So with the cost of like printing up CDs and that now, and sort of the sort of wealth of options for digital downloads and stuff, is it worth still doing physical media, or you can just bang it all up on Bandcamp and get people to download it, and you haven't got to make any payout then for having them printed up? What do you think about that?
That's an interesting question. I think that it's worth. I think that it's worth to have the physical copy of the media itself. Not only because I want that, but I think that that's still a very important part of a show. I mean, even though most cars that you get into, they don't even have CD players anymore, but it still lies in the fact that you know what you're buying, you're purchasing the music, and if you do have a CD player or gaming console.
Sorry, guys. Do you need a local copper gang or something like that?
If you, that's awesome.
No,
oh shit! Nice. If you do have a gaming console or something like that, you could still pop that CD in and you got it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's still supporting the band as a whole, and I mean it's just kind of a proud display of our work.
Yeah. I think it would be a shame if they got rid of physical products, because it's nothing like holding the thing in your hand, reading
exactly.
The booklet and that when you're like listening to the actual songs properly,
Exactly.
Nothing better than that. Leo, just brain's gone. What can I ask you now? I've been a long time since I've interviewed bands. I used to do a fanzine, but now I don't know. Let's think. Damn. I should have written some notes.
Tristan, you can come upstairs if you want.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
See, out here in the United States in the Midwest, what inspires a black metal band is a lot of really loud trucks and motorcycles, drug addicts wandering the streets, and random stray dogs. That's what we find our inspiration from.
You've got no forests out there, no cold winters and that kind of thing where you are?
That's right.
You don't have any forests, or you do?
Huh?
You don't have any forests out there where you are?
Yes, we do. We have a lot of them, actually. There's some state national parks that are out here. They're beautiful. I guess there's people that come from all over the world to come out to some of these places. But, who knows what goes on out there.
So, with black metal, because you're black and death metal, but I mean, is there any kind of like general themes? I know you talked about the songs before, but like no sort of like pagan or satanic or anything like that. Is there any kind of theme like that runs through your songs, or atheistic or
apathy? Apathy, nihilism. Like right. I don't like to sing about Satanism because again, that's what I had mentioned before. It's trite. It's so overused and it's just become this like bullshit go-to term to make you look edgy. So that's there's so many kids that are running around now that just wear all black and scream Satan. And to be honest, I think they kind of just look like idiots. You know what I mean? Like the,
a self-parody now.
Yes, it's turned into this joke, and on one level, I guess I can appreciate that because it is pretty funny. But on another level, it's just like, well, you took everything that this was originally about and just made it into a hot topic item. So I'm all right. You know what I mean? I'm not going to subscribe to that.
Yeah. So not planning on burning any churches then?
No. I've got a really nice church that's across the street from me, and I'd hate to see it burned down. The clock is broken, but it looks pretty damn cool. Yeah, I don't think they use it anymore, but
appreciate the architecture rather than
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The meaning behind it is completely trivial, but the architecture itself should speak for itself.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've been sort of working on new stuff, I take it, like you say, during this period. Have you got any plans for new recordings, new releases coming up in the future?
Yes, we want to have another 3 tracks done. I'd like to have that done goal-wise within the next month or 2, depending on any shows that we may or may not be booking. And in total, we have 12 more songs, I think. 12 more songs to finalize and record. Well, they're done. We just need to put them on track.
So are you planning like that's an album's length then? You're going to do a full-length album next?
I think so.
Any plans? I mean, any sort of names, any song titles, any plan for the name of the CD or anything like that?
Not yet. A lot of these songs, like me and Tristan, as we're writing lyrics to them, we're coming up for the names of the songs then and there. The song names are usually just numbered. Like, all right, guys, we're gonna play 2, 3, 6, 9, and 12 today, and those are the names of the songs because we, you know what I mean. Like that's just the name of the movement, I suppose. I don't know, or the order in which they were written.
Right, and then when you come to write the lyrics, that's when you come up with a name for a song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll come up with a name for a song once the lyrics are done.
Right. And so you thrash out the lyrics between you now, or do you say, oh, I'll take this song and do the lyrics for this one. You take that song and do the lyrics for that one. How do you decide on that process?
I don't know. Tristan does the majority of the writing on the lyrics, to be honest with you. So I think he should answer the question.
Over to you.
Mostly it has just been. When I came in, like I had said before, Dave had already written part of Necessary Regression. He had already had the lyrics for our first track on the EP, Anchor, already written. Our guitar player, Mark, had already had lyrics for the second track on the EP, which is called Calling of the Haunted, already written. And I kind of just take whichever songs don't have lyrics and write lyrics to them. There's really no rhyme or reason. It's just kind of when we practice, I have various things that I make up and I hash out lyrics that way. If we decide that we want to collaborate on a song, we can do things that way too. Otherwise, it's either I write them or whoever else wants to write them can most certainly do that as well.
Right. There's no.
Sorry. Carry on.
Oh. Thank you. There's no real designated like role as far as that's concerned, I guess. That's a really good point, Tristan. We kind of just sort of, I guess, get lost in the creative moments of it all. And then if there's something that sounds good, we make sure to mentally note it and just discuss it later.
Right. Any plans of making some concept to it? Like, so you had the 3 songs of the one concept. You discussed like maybe another half an album concept or full thing as a concept or anything like that?
It hasn't been discussed, but I am not opposed to it.
Yeah, I like that idea.
It just is one of those things. It's one of those things where you have to write all the lyrics roughly at the same time at that point to kind of keep that flow. Mm-hmm. You have to keep it somewhat sentient with the rest of the tracks. Otherwise, if you wait too long, you lose where you were.
So what kind of concepts would you think you might, because you had that historical kind of one that you had before, is that something like a direction you might go in, sort of be like a history Blackened death metal band or?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like that's an interesting question.
I haven't got any of the lyrics written for the new songs yet at all then?
Some of them.
What kind of concepts are you talking about for the ones that you've started on?
Well, they're kind of all over the place when it comes to subject matter. I mean, I've got ones that are currently one that is kind of like the void within humanity, that emptiness that kind of fills everybody at some point in time, and just the overall regret and sadness that void spreads within the human person as you age, as you progress in life. And then there's another one that is all about the black nobility, which is the 13 families that are supposedly controlling the world. There's one that consists of a grave robber digging up a person that was buried alive, conversing with said person, and then reburying said person to be able to sell the body later. So I mean, it's all over the place.
It sounds like happy-go-lucky kind of stuff, anyway.
Oh yeah, no, this is definitely the kind of stuff that's gonna wake you up in the morning and just perk you up and say, "I'm happy about life, and let's go to work and do the thing."
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you've got no gigs planned at the moment because obviously no idea when it's going to come about. Have you got any conspiracy theories about all this? There's a lot of people with different camps who, thinking different things about this whole lockdown and what have you. Any particular favourite theories or anything like that about all this? You talked about the conspiracies of the families ruling the world. Is that something? Is that spoken from like personal thoughts or just like putting yourself into the shoes of someone who believes that?
For me, when it comes to like lyric writing, it is a topic that I am interested in. Otherwise, I don't necessarily believe in a lot of conspiracy theories, mainly because they're so hard to, again, keep on topic and keep stable when it comes to the way that you look through it. When it comes to the COVID and my personal belief on it, I don't believe that it is. How do I want to say this without everybody hating me? I guess I really don't care if everybody hates me anyway. But yeah, more or less, yes, it is a virus. Yes, it is killing people. Yes, it is dangerous. Is it as bad as everyone says it is? Most certainly not. But I guess it's one of those things that, as a single person, I can't change anybody else's mind, nor is it my job to change anybody else's mind.
Yeah.
If people lack the ability to go out and do any form of research on their own or independent thought, that is not my fault or my problem. So, that is what it is.
That's a good point. I mean, to add on to that too, Tristan, like I think that, I mean, I don't know if you've seen what the media is like in America, but it is completely fucked. It is absolutely insane. So, I mean, not only do you have this virus that is throwing people into lockdown, but then you have all this pedophilia shit that's going on all over the world. And it's an interesting time for those two things to kind of go together. I can't say I have any sort of conspiracy theories about it. I really try hard to sort of stay away from that just because it's a rabbit hole and a half to get lost in. It can kind of destabilize and rock your life, but I can certainly say that there has been a lot of eyebrow-raising scenarios that have occurred here in America in the last 5 months. It's been fucking weird. Like, just yesterday, we had a storm roll through here and tear the hell out of this entire area. I'm one of the people who have power in this city right now. I guess I don't know. There's a couple thousand people in the city right now who don't have power. And then I think that in the Midwest in Illinois, there's 560,000 people without power in this area, which is very fucking unusual. So, is that part of the conspiracy theory? I don't know, man. I really don't know. Like, I have no idea.
You can tie anything together if you've got a good enough imagination. And that's the thing.
True. That is true.
Yeah. This stuff gets so much traction now because of the internet and so many opposing ideas. And a lot of people who believe their stuff can sound very compelling with what they say, can't they? So
they can.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, is anybody can make a compelling argument if you just say it loud enough. That's the problem I feel that happened with the internet, is that there's a lot of people out there who feel like they're fucking scholars because they look something up on Google as opposed to doing any sort of critical thinking or analysis based on your own immediate environment. Why would I, somebody who lives in Illinois, start to look in and investigate things that happened over in, I don't know, Bolivia and try to bridge that gap when there's a ton of shit that's going on in our immediate area? Now, it's important to pay attention to the world news, of course, but there's still more people that is so scatterbrained and so lost in what they're trying to explain to somebody that inevitably they either A, look like fools, or when you do try to have a discussion with them, they are so opinionated that they refuse to have an open mind, and up to the point where they become offended and then just hang up the phone or call you an asshole or whatever name here, and that's where you're at. So, it's hard for us to communicate these kinds of things with each other, I think, because of the internet. It's a good tool, but I think we're stabbing ourselves in the leg with it.
Yeah, these conversations aren't really becoming conversations; they become arguments, like on a drop of a hat, because you can't really tell what people are saying when they type. It's just typed out, so you'll take the wrong inflection from what they've said and think that they're like you can just type something innocently, and someone thinks they've read it their own way and think that you're attacking them. You know, that kind of thing. Just that so easily.
Yes, and that's.
So one minute you think you're just having a polite conversation with someone, you don't realise that they're festering and thinking that you're having a go at them, and then the next thing they're exploding on you. It's like, oh, what happened there?
Yes. Yep.
That's a huge part of the problem in not only this country but in the whole world, though, that just the act of civil discourse is completely gone. Like you said, there's more focus on feelings than actually trying to get to the truth, or at least hearing out somebody else's side of the story.
True.
There's, human conversation, especially during the lockdown, has been reduced to interviews such as this, or Zoom or Skype or whatever those other things are. Otherwise, people, most of the time, they stay home. They go to work every once in a while if you're one of the essential workers, so to speak. But, it's driven a giant wedge in between actual human contact, which has just, I guess, kind of destroyed all conversation.
Well, that's what's interesting too, Tristan, is because when you stop and think about it, human contact was already kind of dwindling as it was. We became our internet personalities. We became who we displayed on a screen versus who we were in real life. So it really turned it into a situation where now everybody's assumed identity and like what they stand behind is based off their Facebook profile or what they do on Twitter or who they follow on YouTube. It's no longer about who you are as a person or what you stand for, which actually takes work. That takes time for you to get to know somebody. People don't want to do that. They just want to go see what you like and then decide on whether or not that you're a worthy person to be their friend. That's fucked. And that's what this whole COVID situation is kind of propagated, it seems.
It's kind of getting
I guess at that point, it's a good thing that people base off of Facebook, I guess, because I, as you can attest, Dave, I'm a lot nicer online than I am in person. So it helps for me anyway.
I think you're a nice guy, Tristan.
So you just go back a little bit, come off the subject a bit. You came in sort of straight away writing lyrics. Did you have a band before that you wrote lyrics for, or was it just something you just took to naturally?
I have been in several bands throughout the years. Like I said, I've been doing vocals for different bands for nearly 20 years now. And it's a lot of times I would collaborate with the other people, but over time, the willingness to do said collaborations really kind of dropped off. So I had to figure out how to do it by myself. So now it doesn't matter much either way. I'll either do it myself or, like I said, if anybody else wants to collaborate, perfect. Otherwise, you get what you get.
Yeah. Do you think that do you think both of your experiences, like as people have been doing metal for quite a while, do you think how you do the band now is different to what it was 20 years ago when you first started doing bands? Are you finding you're able to politic with each other better and interact with each other better, both musically and in relationship kind of things?
Well, seeing as how when I first started doing this, I was in my early teens, I suppose. You don't have that sense of being an adult. You don't have the responsibilities, you don't have anything when it comes to something like that. So if you have to wait until you're older in life, in your 20s or your 30s, you have more maturity when it comes to dealing with other people in a band. You have more maturity when it comes to the music you want to play, what you want to do with it, how you want to progress with what you're doing. So yes, I mean, it is a lot easier now with Facebook and whatnot to be able to get your music out there. But in the same respect, especially lately, I've seen there has been such a flood of bands, new bands, old bands that are trying to stay relevant, and then ones that just kind of try and dominate everything. That it is so flooded, you have to fight for everything that you get when it comes to views, when it comes to plays, when it comes to going to shows. That it's easier to get people to see it, but it's almost harder now to get people to actually listen.
Yeah. Because I've thought this a few times myself. Back in the day when you had like a demo tape, you'd only have like one demo tape, and you listen to it. But now that you can just go, no, I look on this bank, I look on this bank. And if something doesn't grab you within the first 5 minutes, you forget about that band and move on to another one. So I think it's a lot harder now even though it's a lot easier to get out to more people, it's a lot harder to actually grab one or two people's attention, if you know what I mean. Because people have got lower thinking attention spans as well, probably.
Yes, that's the truth. I think that we're definitely becoming a people of, I guess, a show me sort of group, like woo me in the first 20 seconds, otherwise I hate you. You know what I mean? That's kind of the way that it works out, I guess. Like bands working with each other as far as a band is concerned, I guess it helps to know what it is that you want to do. It helps to know like what your personal end objective is. And I don't mean like I want to be famous and play shows all over the world. No, I mean like I'm going to learn how to play, I don't know, a C minor scale in Dorian, and I'm going to learn how to do that. And those kind of things that are actually focused on being a musician versus on like trying to impress anybody really make a really big difference when you're working with musicians of the same mindset, because you can come up with some really fucking cool things that way. You know, instead of trying to go out of your way and impress everybody, go out of your way to try to impress yourself. And that really makes it fulfilling, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here. You know what I mean? Like, that's the big difference that I personally have as a musician now versus when I was playing guitar in bands, 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Mm.
Is that dog still out there?
No, it's not wolves.
Wolves?
Do you have wolves in your forest? Oh, okay.
Coyotes.
And mountain lions?
Yes.
All right, cool. Poisonous snakes? Yeah, I'll stay where I am. So you haven't actually got any of the song titles yet for the new album. When do you reckon you'll get around to recording that? Obviously, you got like the lyrics first, but have you got a game plan for what's going to come about?
We actually were speaking with somebody that we want to work with as far as recording is concerned, because there was a couple different ideas that we had. It was either going to be able to do it ourselves or find another studio master, studio production guy, whatever, to do it for us. So we think we found somebody that's going to do it at a reasonable price. So, we don't want to go to the city and drop way more money than we have to. We'd much rather just try to get it as high quality as possible with the lowest amount of money spent.
Yeah. What about the bloke who did it before? Is he not available for this one to do it for you again?
What's that?
Bloke who did the last demo, the last EP for you, would he not be available again?
Probably not. He is dealing with some personal issues, so I think it would be best for us to definitely shop around.
Yeah. And you wouldn't consider doing it yourself? You haven't got the equipment to record it yourself?
No, we don't have the programs, nor do we have the know-how to be able to bust that out.
No. That's kind of like a perfect world, though. When you've got that, you can spend as much time as you like doing it, getting it to you absolutely like 100% happy with it. That's the best way to be. You can do it. There's so much technology. I mean, how has the technology sort of changed and affected how a band runs for you now? I mean, do you think there's a lot of technology coming to, making band life easier or harder?
I don't know. I think that there's a lot of bands out there. Oh, Tristan, you can answer that question. I've been talking a lot.
Okay. Well, when it comes to like the amount of technology that are in bands nowadays, I think a lot of it has kind of dropped the actual quality of the music because you're able to do so much in post-production that
Yes.
doing things right the first time have kind of become almost an afterthought because, oh, I'll just fix that in post. I'll just fix that in post. Well, you need to redo your vocals. No, just fix it in post. You need to redo your guitar. No, just fix it in post. No, play your damn instrument. But
Yeah.
I mean, you know, some things have made it easier. I mean, the actual recording programs have made it so much easier, so much cheaper, and more widely available to bands, especially ones that don't have thousands of dollars to drop on, you know, going to a recording studio and paying $25, $30, $40, $50 an hour, upwards of $100 an hour for some of the really good ones. And it's ridiculous because you figure if it took us to get the 6 songs a total of maybe, what, 20 to 24 hours. If you're paying $40 an hour for recording, plus another $25 to $30 an hour for mixing, another $25 to $30 an hour for mastering, you're spending $3-4 grand on a 6-song EP.
Yep.
So it is doing things with the newer technology is easier and more widespread. So it's kind of allowed some people to drop their prices, but also the ones that get semi good at it or even very good at it are raising their prices so high because they're like, well, you're not going to get this any other way, any cheaper than this. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there.
Yeah,
very much so.
Imagine a lot of bands doing their own stuff and using their own technologies kind of taken away from the studios. So the studios aren't getting maybe as much work as they would have done.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's certainly important if you have a good studio engineer to make sure that they are compensated for their time, not to dismiss them at all. Because there are a lot of bands out there that'll just, you know, run these dudes like, you know, workhorses and then not pay them. But I mean, I guess that's up to them to be able to protect their own assets. But I agree very much with what Tristan said. It's a very much a double-edged sword where anybody can go in there and just make shit up and make it sound good. I think the most important thing for bands is that if you have a very good album that's been through the production, can you perform that live? Because that's the testament right there of how good you are as a musician, I suppose. Is your album authentic to your performance?
There's a lot of bands now, as I was thinking about, like one-man bands, and they sound they're not quite as good maybe as a whole lineup. They sound pretty good though. You have the drum machines quite good now. You loads of like just one man rocks up with his guitar and he's blinking his mobile phone playing the drum tracks, and they sound pretty good. There's quite a few bands like that now. There's I don't know, solitude. People wanting to do stuff on their own, can't be bothered to work with other people or something like that. I don't know what that's all about, but I suppose it's an option now, though, isn't it?
Yep.
Definitely not.
Yep, it is.
Have you got you got any gigs lined up, or is they all cancelled now? You got nothing like off in the distance? Are there any like festivals around you, like regular festivals that you might get on the bill of?
At the end of this month, we have 1, possibly 2 set up right now. We're just kind of playing it by ear to see what bars are going to be open and how this is going to work out. One of the shows that we're going to be playing is actually a house party. So I don't know how that's going to go. There's like, I don't know how many bands are there, Tristan, like 600 or whatever.
9.
Not really that many, but 9. Might as well be that many. If any musician listening to this can attest to the fact that if they play a show with 4 or more bands, it's a fucking circus trying to move equipment around and get out of each other's way and and you know, you got to tear down while the other band is setting up, or set up while the other band is tearing down. It's too much. But I'm stoked because, like I said, this is a house party show. This will be in a backyard, so I guess it'll be fun. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. So I used to put. You go.
We also have one in the middle end of September. That's going to be a tattoo shop, which is also similar to like a house party style, but it's an indoor event, and it's kind of our way to kind of go to an area where we don't normally play. So we normally play like more east and north, and this is giving us a chance to go somewhat south. So kind of branching out into new territories, trying to get new fans, meeting other bands. So, it is what it is. You kind of got to, in this day and age, you have to do whatever you can do to put yourself out there, to get heard, to get people to recognize you, to basically build your brand, because that's what your brand is at that point. It is your brand.
Have you had much chance to be on like interviews like this? I mean, there's so many websites now and podcasts and stuff like that. I mean, have you got fanzines then? We're doing fanzines. The old paper fanzine have kind of died out, but have you got any kind of promotion that you've been able to do in your, for your band?
Well, this was the first sort of video interview that we've ever done before. There's been a couple of interviews that we've filled out that are written. I guess they're going into different magazines. Tristan will be able to tell you more about that. But yeah, this is the first kind of like video interview that we've ever had.
How about reviews? Have you had any reviews come through for the Mountainside?
Video-wise, no. As of right now, like Dave said, this is our first one. With the other bands, that was kind of really before a lot of the local bands were able to get a lot of like YouTube interviews or whatnot. Like I said, we do have some print interviews that we're going to have through the PR company that we are working with now called Metal Coffee, and they submit them to all sorts of magazines, plus their own web pages and their own radio and whatnot. So, I mean, I guess the best thing that I could say is, since we've started with these guys, they have done more in the way of getting us interviews and helping us to connect and network to the right people to get more exposure than most any band will be able to ever do on their own without just months and months of doing nothing but social media.
So I can attest, I think we all pretty much hate social media.
Because I mean, at this point in time, had we not started working with them, we may not have run into the situation where we had the ability to be on this interview, or
that's true,
to be on the compilation that is theirs, that is featured in the Bathory E-zine, or just it's one of those things where it's almost who you know now. It is not how hard you work. I mean, it is to a certain degree, but you have to make contacts. You have to help everyone and hope that they will in turn help you back.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
got a question from someone in chat. My mate Gino wants to know about your influences. You touched on them a little bit, but you want to go more into what, 2 or 3 musicians influenced your own playing style the most, or singing style the most?
Okay. I'll go first. I guess ICS Vortex from Demi Borgir. I mean, that he's a monster. He's got incredible vocals, so I definitely look up to that guy a lot. Bass playing wise, a lot of the bass licks in Between the Buried to me is pretty superb. That's hands down one of my favorite bands. So I certainly enjoy hearing those riffs a lot. I don't know. I guess that would be it for me.
That's 2. What about you, Tristan? Any 2 particular or more that really influenced your singing?
well, I mean, for what I have aspired to be over the years, I would have to say probably my biggest influences would have been bands like early Cradle of Filth, like pre-Midian, Dark Funeral, Cannibal Corpse, 6 Feet Under, a lot of stuff like that. A lot of mixtures of the death metal and the black metal, extreme metal genres.
Yeah.
Have you?
Behemoth, I like them a lot.
Right.
Magua, those guys are incredible. MGLA, Mgła, I think is how you pronounce it. They're a Polish black metal band. These guys are fucking nuts. But yeah, I don't know. I just hear something and I like it. Dark Throne is really cool. Mayhem, obviously. I like some Burzum music, but most of it is kind of just TV static. So,
so what about just
what happens when you record through a headset?
Yes.
What about your singing style? Do you think your singing styles have changed from when you first started singing to now? Have you picked up new vocal techniques, or has your voice changed from wear and tear or anything like that, or for all the years you've been singing?
For me, most definitely. You know, like I said, I've had at this point 19 years of experience. So I've learned, it's been trial and error. You know, I didn't know what I was doing when I was 13, 14 years old. So I tore my voice up every time I did anything. And then as I progressed, it just kind of, you learn how not to be miserable after you play a show. And you have to kind of take that and mold it and help yourself not always be constantly pushing, not always straining. And from years of me doing that, I have significantly lowered any form of a high range that I have. Now it is basically a mid-range, but I've also lowered the low range that I can go significantly as well. So, I mean, it's I guess, take it as it is. You give a little bit, but you also get a little bit of something else in return.
Yeah. So it's developed anyways. It's just you're lower range than what you used to be. Not so harsh over the years. Screaming. What about you, Dave? You think your singing style has changed?
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely, because I do a lot of the clean vocals. I do the clean vocals, I guess I should say. I don't have any formal training, so it's taken a lot of experimentation in order for me to know like where the appropriate range is for me to go. And then since I'm doing some backing scream vocals too, it's tough for me to be able to mix that in with clean vocals. So it's learning that balance. And I asked Tristan when he first joined us, like, well, how the fuck do you do that? And he's just like, I don't know. I'm not the guy to ask. And I was just like, all right, cool. And he's just like, I'm making it up the whole time. Like, I've been just trying to figure this out. It's all one big experiment. And that's exactly how I approached it. And I learned how to not, feel like I was coughing up blood. Just take your time, try to make the sound, and don't expect yourself to do it the first time, I guess. So it's changed, whereas I feel like I'm improving. I guess only our performance can really attest to that, but I'm more satisfied with my performance than I was when I first started.
Yeah, that's a good sign though. If you're more satisfied in yourself, then no one knows your voice and your performance better than yourself, do they? So
right. It's either that or my expectations are just completely lowered because I just fuck it.
You're deluding yourself. You're massive ego, and you're deluding yourself that everything you do is perfect.
Right.
All right, we're going over an hour anyway, so maybe we'll start to wrap up now. I don't know, you fancy asking each other a question? Have you got a question you wanted to ask Tristan about him or his thoughts towards the band? Or Tristan, have you got a question for Dave about anything to do with the band?
Yeah, Tristan, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, why weren't you telling me we got free beer? I mean, that's just ridiculous.
He's gone. He's disappeared. He's obviously can't answer that question. Either that or some kind of trouble. Maybe he's going to get you a beer or something. It's possible.
I'm pretty sure he's just trying to hide at this point.
That could be it. I can hear him in the background. Is he still there? All right. So
yeah, he's up there.
Okay. Do you want to wrap it up there? You got anything you want to say to finish it off? Any messages for people who've hopefully tuned in?
I mean, hey, just, if you want to check out the band, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/815Exile.
Links all down below for that and also in the blog. So if you've got any more links, you can just send them to me and I'll put them all in the description and I'll put them on the blog post as well. Yeah.
All right.
You think nothing else to say? Nothing else to add?
No, I think I'm good.
Cool. Well, thanks for doing this. Dave's back. Let's
Thank
see
you.
him say goodbye. See if he's got anything he wants to add.
I'm
Anything you want
back.
to... where's his beer? You're not going to get away from the question that easily. Where's his beer?
What is it? What?
He wants to know where his beer is. Why didn't you tell him about the beer?
The fear?
The beer.
No, the beer.
Oh, the beer. This is birthday beer, actually. My birthday was last Friday, and our drummer, Frank, gave me a 6-pack of Guinness, extra stout. So,
Cool.
thanks, Frank. Yep.
All right. Anything you want to say to finish off with, Dave?
Not really. I mean, thanks for listening. And please check out our work. It's on Spotify, on YouTube. I'm sure Tristan has name dropped plenty of those when I was absent. So, yeah, keep your eyes open. We have more to bring to the table.
Cool. And once you get anything else recorded, send us an MP3 so I can play it on my podcast as well.
You got it, man.
Definitely.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for that. That was relatively painless. All right. See you
Thanks
later.
for having us. Take it easy.
Have a good night, brother.
All
Goodbye.
right.